All right, the last thing that I want to hit on from the Ivy text is the section talking about homework. And again, I am going to take a little bit different of a spin. This is going to be, I know in the PowerPoint there was a lot to do, and you'll see in the text with like career interviewing and some of the solution focused approaches. I just want to talk briefly on therapeutic homework in a counseling setting. And I find this to be one of the most important things. This is something that I let my clients know about the very first time they come to see me, that I am somebody who assigns homework. And initially they're, a little bit scared because they're going, I don't have time in my schedule to do that. But what they come to find out is that the homework usually isn't too hard, it's not too time consuming, and it's actually pretty beneficial. It's specifically created to each of them individually or as a couple to where they're at and kind of the direction that we need to go in treatment. And really what homework does is it encourages clients to be active in the process. A session in counseling isn't about them coming and talking for 50 minutes and then going home and forgetting about it the rest of the week until they come back to see you the next week. Clients need to be an active participant. This is their life, so it's important that they find ways to be thinking about it throughout the week. Homework gets them thinking in between sessions, and when we can create creative homework assignments, it is uniquely tailored to them so they're able to find the meaning and the worth, and it helps in their own self journey. It also helps them to recognize that this is their process. This isn't about me fixing them. This isn't about you fixing them. This is about us joining with them and being a cheerleader per se and walking this process with them, but ultimately that it's their own journey. And so sometimes homework can really be an aid in order to help them make it their own. I always let my clients know from the beginning it's not my goal to keep them in therapy for the rest of their lives. And so I use homework as a unique way to make sure that they have the tools to be able to implement into their lives right away as they're going from week to week, and they're kind of building on those tools. And this is my way of getting them to a point where they can walk into the world facing the issues that they want to face with the tools that they have and the things that they've learned about themselves so that they don't become dependent on me. Now, like I said, homework is always very unique. It's very creative. It's never really hard. And I always let the client know that if it does become too hard or if it does become too overwhelming, it's fine. Just stop and bring that back to the session and let's talk about what was so hard about completing that assignment. Oftentimes that'll show us where a block is and where resistance is, and maybe we can kind of lean into that and explore that a little bit. That might shed some extra light on the counseling process. Now, as an example of what I might give for homework, so every couple that comes to see me, I know I said I'm pretty unique, but I am, with the exception of a couple things. Every couple that comes to see me, I can say about 99% of the time, they say they have communication issues. And so in the first session, we do a lot of digging and a lot of assessment. And one of the questions that I always ask them before the session is over is, when's the last time that y'all have gone on a date? And gone on a date in such a way that it wasn't just getting out of the house to go run an errand together, or it wasn't getting out of the house to talk about the kids or finances or work. Like, when was the last time y'all went on a date, had a great, enjoyable conversation where you just were able to focus on the other person? And I would say about 9 times out of 10, they'll look at me, they'll laugh, and they'll go, maybe when we were dating, you know? And so a creative homework assignment that I'll love to give all of my couples the first time, and really I ask them to make this a habit, is to go out on a date. That's their homework assignment, to go out on a date. Now, of course, there's a stipulation. They're not allowed to talk about house stuff, projects, errands that they have to run. If they have kids, they're not allowed to talk about kids. They're not allowed to talk about family, in-laws, family issues, those sorts of things. They're not allowed to talk about finances. And they're not allowed to talk about their jobs. So they usually stare at me and they go, so what are we supposed to talk about? And that's the fun part. And so I have them talk about their favorite memories when they were dating. What are some of the things that they found attractive about their partner as they were getting to know them? What were some of the things that stood out to them as some of their favorite memories, their most hilarious memories, times that they just can't stop laughing about? And really, it's to get them reminiscing. It's to get them building hope. Like, hey, if we can remember those times, it means that there's a reason that we were together. And it's often very special. And then what I usually ask them to do as we continue on throughout the counseling process is to make that a habit. To take every Saturday morning and to go to a new breakfast place, to take every Thursday night and go do something just the two of you. Maybe if funds are limited, every Wednesday night is game night and everything else gets pushed to the side and we pull out a game and nobody else gets to intrude on that time. And really what it's doing is it's helping to build that connection time, that face-to-face time. We were so intentional when we were dating, and so it's kind of rekindling a little bit of that. So that's just an idea of a creative homework assignment, but you could see how that would be so important for a couple who's having communication issues, who is kind of lost a little bit of where they're at in their relationship. So that's kind of the fun part about homework assignments. So I'm going to actually pause the video here, and then we're going to go into the resources section, talking about next week, and then of course our final week of class, and that final transcript paper that we're going to do. So make sure that you watch the next video.